Yo, what is up guys? It is Samool here, back with another Epic 7 video for you guys today. And today I'm going to be talking about Blooming Snag Lich Expedition, otherwise known as Earth or Green Expedition. Now this expedition is pretty annoying because you're going to need like specific heroes for this, because especially if you want to auto this, you're going to need a lot of AoE, which makes it pretty annoying to build a team for. But I'm going to tell you the best team comps, with team comp I use, and some of the boss's mechanics as well. So starting off with every expedition boss, you're going to want a knight in the front line for the most part. I think Aros is the best here by far. Another close second would be like Lilius, but there's no real point in using Lilius because Aros is a free to play 3-star unit. And you're just going to want to make sure he's on 80% effectiveness because you want him to land that defense break. And the boss also gets an attack buff, which you're going to want to strip so you don't take too much damage. Also make sure he's obviously tanky, and he's also decently fast at like 220 speed, I'd say. And run him on Aureus. Now I don't like to run him on a maxed Aureus because what happens is that he takes actually too much damage and actually dies. So I run him on like a 15 or even like a +0 Aureus is fine as well. Next we have the healer spot. So honestly the best healer here is Mascot Hazel, because as you can see, my entire team is fire, which means she will put greater attack buff on her team. But I'm using Tamarin instead. Tamarin works just as well. Actually maybe just not as well, but she's very good. Hazel is like a lot better in my opinion, but I actually don't have her geared for this. But Tamarin is 80% effectiveness to also strip the boss of attack buff, decently fast, and honestly a bit squishy. So what happens is if I don't do the boss's mechanics because of RNG, which I'll get into in a bit, she actually ends up dying sometimes, which is kind of unlucky, but happens. And I also have her on Magara's Tome, not maxed yet, because she is just a PvE unit. And yeah, it makes her cycle faster to activate her S3 and also dual attacks and, you know, heals, all the good stuff. And now for the two DPS spots, which is probably what you guys are wondering the most. You're going to want a defense breaker and a main damage dealer. So for my defense breaker, I use Tenebria. I think she's pretty irreplaceable here. She is a very good defense breaker because she has that AoE on her S3 and her AoE on her S2, which also decreases speed. And she does crazy damage as well. Now the reason why she's so good is because you're going to want a lot of AoE damage here. And if you run her on Etika Scepter, because she is a mage, she can actually pretty much reset her S3 and S2 like all the time, because as you see, her S2 is like only a 3-turn cooldown, so it makes her very powerful here. You're going to want to run her on 80% effectiveness and then 220 speed, and the rest into damage. And now for the last spot, the damage spot. So you can run, I'd say like 3 or 4 options here. I think the 3 best would be like Ball and Sazan, Bomb Model Kana, and Kairon. So Ball and Sazan helps with defense breaking, right, and does a lot of damage. His S1 is also AoE, or counts as AoE as well, because it is a multi-target attack. Bomb Model Kana, same thing, multi-target attack, has speed buff for her team, does crazy damage, and Kairon has the AoE on his S1, and if you run him on Dust Devil, you can proc the S1 multiple times and get multiple AoE attacks in. Now, Kairon is probably the worst of the 3. I think Ball and Sazan and Bomb Model Kana are the top 2 for sure. Very, very close, because when you're having Tamarin and Aros dual attack, or force dual attack, usually you'll bring your Bomb Model Kana or Ball and Sazan because they're the most built with damage, which means that their S1 counts as AoE, so you're still getting AoE attacks in. Whereas if I bring like Kairon with my force dual attack, what happens is that he single target attacks, so it's kind of annoying. And you're going to see why these AoE attacks are important when I read you this one skill of the boss, I'd say. Now, basically this is his attack, or his ad skill. His ad is like a golden crystal thing. Basically, you have to attack it 5 times to dispel the skill nullifier, and he gives you basically a COVID vaccine, right? Immunization, right? And basically, it makes it immune to, or your team immune to the boss's COVID, you know, from spreading to you. And it's really important to have AoE, because if you want to auto the expedition, which I really recommend, because manualing this is like super painful. At the start, it might seem okay, but you really want to auto expedition, guys. So yeah, you're going to want AoE damage, so when you're hitting the boss, you actually can hit the ad as well. And yeah, as you saw, Neurotoxin, otherwise known as the COVID, is going to do 90% of your target's HP, which is yourself. And then also what's going to happen is the boss will go after if you're unlucky with the turn cycling, and you're dead. So you want to make sure you have AoE damage, especially if you want to auto. The boss also has that attack buff on himself and also poisons everyone. So you're going to want to make sure you bring like Tamarin or Hazel, because they have cleansing as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the boss. He also like strips you as well. If you don't have like Tamarin or Hazel, you can run a Momo as well. A Momo, if she's built fast enough, she'll be fine. She can cleanse. Just make sure she's decently tanky so she doesn't die. Now let's get into this boss fight real quick and see what happens. So my team aims for about like 500, 600k. It really depends on how lucky I get with my defense breaks landing, my Etika Scepter proccing, and my Dust Devil proccing. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes I get like as low as like 400k. It really depends. But you'll see, hopefully this defense break lands off the start. If not, it's really sad. And of course it does not land because, yeah, Smilegate hates us. You know, 15% is a thing for some reason in PvE. Because, yeah, Smilegate hates us, you know, happens. But yeah, you'll see the turn cycling, just whatever. A lot of poisons coming out on us. And notice the skill nullifier on the crystal is going down. Now, thank God my Aros landed that defense break, because if not, we would have some problems. Hopefully Dust Devil procs here so I get more damage in. And it doesn't, of course, because, yeah. You know, why would it proc here? But yeah, this is just like a tank and spank, basically. As long as you have the AoE down and your team's fast enough, you should be fine. The only thing is, like, if you're running Charon like me, you get unlucky sometimes. And if you miss the defense breaks, then you're pretty screwed as well for the points. But as long as you aim for like 300k plus, even like 200k plus, I'd say you should be fine. Also, being in a good guild, having good friends, will make it a lot, you know, more lenient, because you can always have people carry you, I'd say. And not to the point where you're getting completely carried, but as long as you're doing some contribution, it is a-okay. Now you'll see the immunization ran out, actually, that I got from the ad. So here he's gonna put his skill nully again. Actually, I just got the immunization. You see that blue like heart buff above my team? It kind of looks like a debuff, but it's actually a buff. Now this makes me immune to the neuropoison or neurotoxin, so that, you know, COVID doesn't one-shot me real quick. But yeah, I'm gonna have to cycle through before it runs out and try to get it again, because, you know, you gotta get that booster shot. But yes, this is what I'm talking about. So with that dual attack from Aros, Charon, single target attacks, so when I'm autoing, I don't actually, like, you know, hit the ad. So it's kind of annoying. And okay, the boss resisted my defense break from Tenebria twice. So you'll see what happens when I get really bad RNG, because there's an 85% chance built in the game where I guess my Tenebria is not 100% chance of a defense break, but anyways, it's more likely than not that the defense break is supposed to land, and yeah, it didn't land. So yeah, this is also a good reason why Baltazan's a lot better than Charon here, because he's kind of like a backup defense breaker, but it's fine. You'll see, even without defense breaks, which is going to be like your huge source of damage when the boss is defense broken, but even without it, I'm hitting 200k, not bad. I wish I could show you a better run, because I can actually hit like 600, 700k pretty easily, depending on how many Dust Devils proc, even with my really scuffed gear and not so perfect team comp. But, you know, happens. Sometimes you get unlucky. Nothing really you can do about it. And yeah, another reason why I like Aros is because he makes your team tankier with defense buff, and he also helps out with the AoE cycling for the crystal. Now I do get Dust Devil proc, so when I hit the crystal again with an AoE attack, I should be able to get the immunization, so I don't die from the neuropoison or neurotoxin that he puts here. Now my Aros is going to take a lot of damage because he did take his turn, but everyone else should be fine. So you'll see, like, making sure units are like super fast so you can keep proccing the immunizations, like, really important. I really recommend 200 plus speed. And finally, I do get the defense break. I do get a Dust Devil as well, so we get some good damage here. But yeah, it's going to be like a 450k, maybe 500k run here, even though I got really unlucky. But yeah, this is just basically Earth Expedition. If you're manualing, you can, like, obviously target the crystal with single target attackers, but like I said, if you really do not want to manual this, it is very painful. Got immunization again, but it doesn't matter because boss is berserked. But yeah, it's gonna be like a 500k run, I'd say. I think if my Charon laps here with the speed down, yeah. Do I get a Dust Devil? Yep. Yeah, so it's gonna be 500k. Now, if those two first defense breaks landed, I would have gotten, like, I don't know, probably like 650, 700. But, you know, 520k for bad RNG, you know, we'll take it. And I guess this is a good thing about Charon. You get another attack in with his S3, but that doesn't really matter. It's only like, what, 8k there? So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for Earth Expedition, guys. So just to recap, you want to make sure you have a Knight, being Aros or Lilius. You want a Soul Eater, either being Tamarin, Mascot Hazel, or even a Momo if you don't have either built. And for your Defense Breaker, you really want Tenebria, and your DPS, you want to run either Balancezon or Bomb Model Kana. And if you don't have either and you have Kayron built already, maybe use Kayron as well, although I don't really recommend using Kayron. Not that great, not consistent, but he is okay here. Yeah, I hope this video helped you out, guys, and as always, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.